Hello everyone, it's Shan here. Actually, I'm still on my holiday and later on we are going to drive to Yellowstone. And 2 days ago, we actually spent 2 nights on Spur Ranch in Texas. And there I actually ran into two Chinese girls from Chengdu, China, and we got a very interesting conversation. Actually, they are just two young kids, like 19 or 20 years old. They are studying in the school college second year. They come here for summer holiday from part of exchange student program, but actually they more or less like do their field work. I believe is like as a housekeeping, and this is the very first time for two young kids to be traveling around. I mean, to be overseas and away from their family. This is also the first time for them to really get into American country, into this culture, to meet people. So they have so many questions that they got a big, huge culture shock, and they've asked me so many questions. I believe a lot of them are very funny and cute questions. That's the thing I want to share with you guys about their culture shock, because I've been working as the English tour guide for 10 years. I've learned many things from my American or British customers, for cultures, for understanding, for the way of thinking, everything. So that's the reason why I also try to tell them about why they do it like that, why they talk like that. So this is a very funny thing. At the beginning, I asked them a question. I said, how do you feel about this damn shit, capitalism? You know, back in China, even today, for the government, from the school, from the media, they still deeply brainwash you guys about how terrible for the capitalism could be, blah, blah, those things. But actually, it's not very true like that at all. And so I asked them this question. I said, how's your feeling? And they said, it's actually very good, and it's very, very different from what we imagine, what we've heard about. And the government in China, even today, they still give sort of control on the websites of and also the media. So for instance, even today, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter are still not allowed for people to use back in China. So that's also a big thing for their American staff working on the ranch to heard about that. In China, you cannot use those Facebook and Twitter, and they said, "Oh, how boring life it could be," and you don't know anything from those things. So it's truly a kind of different. And also the government, even today, they sort of control about Google. Sometimes Google can work, sometimes Google cannot work at all. If you want to use those websites, you definitely have to purchase special program, to jump over the block, and then you can use those those websites you want to use. So this is the first thing I want to share with you guys. And then the second thing, the girls asked me, she said, "Oh, the manager, he's so nice, he's so gentle, and when we talk with each other, he even called me, yes, ma'am, yes, ma'am. I can't imagine. He's my manager. How come he can call me ma'am?" And I said, because in Western culture, this is lady first, and they believe no matter you're a manager or employee, you have equal rights and you should respect each other. So that's the reason why they say and talk like that. Because back in China, I can tell you my experience. The manager never really give you a kind of equal look to you, equal respect to you. No, they always play sort of ridiculous, I call it ridiculous kind of trick behind you, try to trap you or try to play around and try to make themselves look senior. And they don't give you really equal look at all. For instance, like my previous job working in a travel agency, well, I can tell you the competition between men and women is ridiculous imbalance and ridiculous discriminated. For instance, back then we got only 4 women tour guides against 28 men tour guides. And when I was interviewed for my job, the question from my manager, what she asked me, and she asked me, first 3 questions, nothing related about my background, my experience, how good English I could be talking or something like that. Something like, are you married? What time do you plan to get married? How's your health of your parents? Their philosophy like, okay, and to make sure you can focus into this work 24 hours or something like that. But definitely those kind of questions, if you bring them up in America, I believe you can sue your manager, right? But this is a thing in China. It's very much, especially for women's rights, it's terrible. I can tell you, like, for instance, like women with doctor degree will compete with men with bachelor degree. That's the situation. Yeah. So that's the reason why the two girls definitely did not expect about their manager on the ranch could treat them so good, and those kind of conversation, just relax and everything, so nice to tell them, to teach them, so nice to talk with them, give them so much respect. So I said this is a cultural difference, and this is not really cultural difference, but it should be the way to respect people from each other. So I thought just learning and experience is a great opportunity to your girls. And then they also asked me some question, for instance, like about the food, because the guys working on the ranch, they don't eat breakfast, and sometimes they wake up and then they just grab a bottle of energy water and drink it, and then that's it, right? Because they're single and they're working on the ranch. Sometimes they just not like a family to make something for breakfast. So two girls definitely are not used to it. They said, "Oh my gosh, they don't eat noodle for breakfast. You know that? They only drink energy water. That's it." And then they asked me, "How about you and your husband?" Actually, my husband from Houston. I said, "Actually, we sometimes just simple breakfast, some cereal with milk. That's it." And then she said, "Oh my gosh, that sounds much better. That sounds like more like a normal breakfast." Back in China, our breakfast is also different from yours. Traditional one is congee, the rice soup, boil the rice with water. It's kind of hot cereal, you can call it. And we also have the sometimes people from the south, they make some noodle things, but it's just different way of the cooking, and it's just cute. And then they said, "You know what? Those guys, they can drink beer from morning to evening, the whole day just drink beer. I can't believe it." And then she also said something like they one time, I believe, the guys maybe try to be nice and take them, because they know they are not used to the Western food, so they try to take them to another town, driving about 1 hour to try some Chinese restaurant, Chinatown there. So when they leave, just maybe 20 minutes, and they stop the car, buy some drink, like mix them together, like Sprite with a little bit of whiskey, something like that, and put a lot of ice inside of it. Well, I have to say, Chinese people, a lot of them, they still drink hot tea, and the warm tea at least. They don't like iced tea. And I have to tell you, iced tea, we don't have iced tea in China. Iced tea is not real tea to us at all. And we don't like those kind of icy cold thing. But anyway, they mix those drink maybe for 4 big glasses, and she showed me like this big, and just to give to girls and say, "Relax and enjoy, it's so hot, just drink it." And the girls said, "Oh, even not having lunch, not having dinner yet, and then drinking so much of those kind of drink with alcohol." So it's just so cute. I said, people from South, they just relax, and it's so hot, so that's the reason why they try to be nice and make some cold drink for you girls, something like that. And also another thing they cannot get used to, that is the food. Like sometime you cook steak and you tell the chef, say, "I want medium," right? And they have some deer meat on the ranch, I believe, and they cook them in a steak way, and then it's also medium. So that means when you cut it, you can see the blood inside of it, right? That's quite normal thing to you guys, but definitely it's not the food culture in China. They always stew meat, beef and meat with a bunch of vegetable. So definitely you cannot see the bloody thing. They consider it as raw food too in China. So they offer this deer meat to the two girls and say, "Try it, it's very good," or something like that. And the girls say, "We cut it and see the bloody thing. Oh my gosh, it's still raw meat. How can we eat raw meat?" And then they try to be hospitality to the girls, and the girls say, "Oh my gosh, I chew it just like eating some terrible drug or something like that." It just funny. I said, try different food. This is also part of your program you can experience, just being open-minded. And another thing that is also about the meal, that is lunch and dinner, because in China we more or less like prefer big lunch and small dinner, because after dinner you'll go to bed very soon, right? So not very good for you to overeat too much, and that will gain your weight, and also not easy for you to digest it when you're sleeping or something like that. So the girls spend 2 hours for lunch break and then cook food for them. And then when they finish their meal, and then for themselves, and then finish their meal and then show up, their manager said, "Well, it's 2 hours lunch break. Don't you think you girls should work now," or something like that? And I've told them is this that's a different thing. They usually have big dinner and small lunch. Lunch to them just like sandwich or salad or some soup, something simple and quick because you need to go come back to work. So usually lunch break in America could be just 1 hour, no more 2 hour things. Well, I have to say, in 1990s or before 2000, the lunch break in China is more or less like 2 hours. But today is still also tend to be like a 1 hour thing, simple things too. So anyway, this is it is funny. And she said, they said they will cook for us, but the thing that is in China, they usually say, "Do you want to eat it? Do you want to eat it?" They truly ask you several times. So they are used to it. They are waiting. They are sitting down there, waiting for them to ask them, "Do you want to eat it?" The second time, "Do you want to eat it?" The third time. But the thing that is, the staff, American staff on the ranch, and say, "Oh, here's the food. Just help yourself," and they're not used to it. They don't know how to react. They don't know how to respond. So they think it in the Chinese philosophy to be polite, just sitting down there. And then the American staff think, okay, they may not like that food, then just take it away. And into that, they don't have a meal for that day at all. And even when I left it, they still tell me, they've told us they will cook for us, but they just don't call us at all. I said, then just go to talk with people. Let them know you want to eat with them together too. And let them know what you are thinking about. Don't just be shy or try to sort of polite being sitting down there. I said, if you don't tell other people how you're thinking about, nobody will guess about what you're thinking about. Nobody will know what you're thinking about, right? Be brave, tell them. And because the Chinese way, sometimes they just overthink things all the time, or make things too complicated. I said people here, they're much more simple, and they just tell whatever they want to say. It's just straight and direct. It's nothing wrong, nothing terrible at all. It's good actually. So I don't know whether they will tell people or not. And I hope they will. I hope they will try to just speak it out and be brave or something like that. And they asked me something about culture difference too, because I'm a husband from Texas. So they say, "Oh, how's your marriage? And your marriage got a lot of culture difference between you guys or something like that?" I said, actually, it's no. Whenever people from different countries and other people don't know, and then they always will ask me about, do you have any culture difference in your marriage? The answer is no, because all of those kind of arguments or small fights thing or disagreements is all the same. Just like every single regular couple is all the human beings things. Maybe like, you should do this housework or small talk or something. Nothing about culture difference conflicts in the marriage, not at all. And then they asked me, how about your relationship with your mother-in-law or something like that? Because in China, they try to impress the mother-in-law, they try to please the mother-in-law, and they try to get along with mother-in-law. The connection, the relationship with mother-in-law and daughter-in-law always a big issue or something like that. Just think about my grandma and my mom. I can tell they try to deal with each other for more than half of their life, but still terrible. And they asked me, how's your feeling? How's the difference? Everything. I said, it's human nature, it's a human being. It's just like every single difficulty you are running into in this life. You both love the same man, you both are from different families, and you have different lives before, and you have to conquer a lot of difficulty or problems in between. And, just try to make friends. It's nothing big deal. And, it's nothing about culture different. It's still like what you can do, you just try. Whatever you can, try your best to do everything. That's it. And you love each other, that's the biggest thing for everything. Well, and the girls also say, because both of them also from the one-child family. Actually, I'm from the one-child family too. I'm the first generation from the one-child, birth control policy after 1980s. So I believe both of them were spoiled too, especially one of the girl. I heard she said, my father worked for the government. I believe should be some higher ranking official or something like that. Because she said, my mom is just a full-time housewife. In China today, if you are a full-time housewife, either, your family quite rich or powerful, you don't need to work, right? Or you definitely both need to work. So she said, I'm coming here working on the ranch. They ask me to, to clean the bathroom, to clean the toilet. I never do it at home. I never do it at home. Just my mom do it. I never do those things. I come here. I need to do those things. It's so nasty or something like that. And when she said that, I truly see her tears in her eyes. And she said, well, maybe because I'm from a traditional family or something like that. I would just think about you're just overspoiled. And I said, okay, girl, I'm from a traditional family too. My family background is they all serve in the military. I believe my family is more tied on those traditional things over than your family. But my mom asked me to do every single thing by myself. At school time and working time, all the things I do by myself, okay? And then when I was the same age as you, the second year of my college, I just want to rent a newspaper pavilion and try to sell newspaper for that summer holiday for 2 months. And I just working hard like any, labors and everything. And I'm proud of myself. This is something cheap work I've done and I make money from that. I'm proud of myself. So same thing, I'm proud of you. You've done something you've never done is good. And one day in future, you definitely will clean somebody's toilet, either your own family or somebody's. So it's a good thing for you to experience. And I have to say, because of the one-child fallacy, a lot of the only baby, the only child from the family, they got too much focus, attention, and also because of the heavy study stress on them at high school and elementary school, so they truly do not have a lot of good time or enough time to, how to say, to do some housework, help the family, or even to learn something about nature. Like in this country, you always go camping in the holiday time, travel around and show the natural things and encourage kids to do it. But back in China, the kids will be fully occupied by different kinds of classes, even weekend. The weekend time, that usually the parents will take them to like English class study, music instrument study. So it's fully occupied by different kinds of classes. I can tell you another thing, that is my younger cousin. When she was about 4 years old in the kindergarten, the teacher asked them to paint something, like painting the chicken thing, the rooster thing. Asked them to do it. What she draw down? She drew down a frozen chicken. We bought it from Walmart. So because she never ever saw any real life chicken, so that's really a sort of, I believe, is not really good thing or not right thing for the kids back in China. It's just too much focus into study, and I call them social idiots because it's just too away and disconnect from the society, from the nature, from the real life, too much away. So anyway, those are the things I want to share with you guys about those kind of culture shock, and I try to tell them, be open-minded and appreciate whatever you've run into in your life. That's what I've learned from my work, from my life, and it's just a great opportunity for them to be here at this age and this holiday time. So if you guys want to know more things about culture difference between China and America, leave down into the comment, and I have more videos talking about those things in future. And also subscribe to my blog and give me thumbs up for this video. Hope you enjoy everything. Bye bye.